Okay, so we're going to start with the ovaries. We have a really prominent grafting follicle, which is producing estrogen. The theca cells on the inside produce testosterone, but then it translates into estrogen when it comes out. We've got a bunch of tertiary follicles you can see on here. I'm not 100%, but I believe this ovary might be encysted because of this large growth. The other side doesn't have that. The other side doesn't even have a grafting follicle at the moment, but a lot of tertiary follicles. On the bottom is, well, it looks like a scar, so that would be the corpus albicans. The hylix, which is where it connects to the mesovarium, which is a broad ligament that holds the ovaries on. Hylix on this side. And then I will pause the video to cut this open after I get through the uterine horn, so I can cut both of them open at the same time and only pause once. Then we have the fimbria, which is the net that goes over the ovary, and that'll cover it up like that. There is the hole that goes into the infundibulum. This is difficult with one hand. Right there. And that'll travel into the infundibulum, which turns into the ampulla. And this is all connected by the broad ligament. Mesosalpinx. So the albumin, ampulla, not albumin, albumin's eggs, but the ampulla is thin, soft part of the oviducts that has small cilia columnal cells that help move the ova down the oviduct. And then once it becomes hard, where is it? Right about here. Because then it becomes harder. Kind of, how did you explain it? The al dente noodle. It's just the isthmus, which is where the sperm cell, the isthmus ampulla junction is where the sperm cell will meet the egg and fertilize. So right around here. And then once it goes from the isthmus, throughout this process, the fetus will be, or ova will be developing a little bit, but not very much. The main process is the fertilization of the fetus. And then we go into the uterine, where the isthmus meets the uterine horn. So right there. Alright, so then we have our uterine horns, which are bifurcated. Different kinds are the duplex, which is typical of rabbits and marsupials, and then simplex, which is more like what humans have, where there's almost no development of a uterine horn, and then bicornuate, which is what most mammals are, where you have distinguished uterine horns of varying levels, and then a uterine body before it enters the cervix. Again, I will cut this open once I go to cut or finish through. Uterine artery and mesometrium, which is the broad ligament that connects the uterus, is all this that holds it on into the body. As far as uterine veins and arteries, I believe this is a vein. If I can get the probe in there. We have that. And then I did not see any arteries, but they've got to be there because it needs blood. I will look when I cut it open again, or when I go to cut open the uterine horns and the uterine body. All right.